Chapter 1. Simple Beginnings. The sun hung low over the battlements of Castle Eldoria, its golden light bathing the cobbled courtyard where a dozen young squires clashed wooden swords in training. Among them was Pug, a lad of 17, short for his age, but quick of foot and strong of heart. Though the son of a simple blacksmith, he dreamed of knighthood not just to wield a sword, but to serve with honor and courage. Yet, many doubted him. Too small, they sneered. Too slow. But fate had a different story to tell. Chapter 2. Unexpected heroism. The kingdom was abuzz with celebration. It was the day of kingship, marking 2 decades of King Aldred's rule. Lords and ladies gathered in the great courtyard, their laughter and music rising into the evening air. Pug, assigned to support the royal guards as part of his squire's duty, stood at the fringes, hand resting on the hilt of his practiced sword. Then, a shadow moved atop the parapet. Pug's sharp eyes caught the glint of metal crossbow, aimed directly at the king. Time slowed. Without hesitation, Pug sprinted forward, hurling himself at King Aldred. The arrow whistled through the air and struck Pug's shoulder instead of the king's heart. Pain flared, but he gritted his teeth and staggered to his feet. The assassin cursed from above, fumbling to reload. Pug wouldn't give him the chance. Ignoring his wound, he seized the fallen spear and hurled it skyward with all his might. It struck true, knocking the assassin backward. The assassin tumbles from the wall with a scream, landing in the fountain below. Gasps filled the courtyard. The king, shaken but unharmed, turned to Pug. His blue eyes shone with gratitude. "You have done me a great service, lad," Aldred said, helping him to his feet. But Pug merely bowed, his heart pounding. "A knight must always protect his king, your majesty." The king smiled. "Perhaps one day you shall." Chapter 3. A Grizzly Bear's Wrath. 2 moons had passed since the failed assassination, and the realm was still restless. Pug was tasked with supporting the princess and her escorts on that day. Rumors of dark forces stirred in the northern woods, where wild beasts and worse things lurked. But none of that concerned Pug on this particular morning, for he was tasked with accompanying Princess Elaine on a simple ride through the royal forest. It should have been peaceful. It was not. The attack came without warning. The brush exploded outward as a monstrous grizzly, its fur matted with blood and its eyes burning with hunger, lunged toward the princess. Her horse reared, throwing her to the ground. The beast roared, its massive claws swiping downward. Pug was already moving. He dove between Elaine and the bear, raising only his training sword. The sword met claw in a shattering clash, and the force sent Pug tumbling and the sword flying into the forest. The bear roared again, rearing on its hind legs to finish him, but Pug was not going to let the beast take him or the princess. Rolling to his feet, he grabbed a fallen branch from the ground and jammed it into the beast's maw just as it lunged. The bear bit down, splintering the wood, but the moment of hesitation was all Pug needed. Pug snatched a sharp wooden limb and, with a cry of ultimate defiance, drove it into the beast's throat. Blood sprayed, and the grizzly let out one final, ear-splitting roar before collapsing. Breathing heavily, Pug turned to Elaine. "Are you hurt, my lady?" Tears welled in her eyes, but she smiled. You saved me." When they returned to the castle, the story spread like wildfire. The young squire who had saved the princess from a beast of legend. And word reached the king. Chapter 4. Pug no more. That evening, Pug was summoned before the throne. The grand hall was filled with nobles, knights, and common folk alike. King Aldred stood, his regal presence commanding silence. "Pug, son of the blacksmith," the king proclaimed, "you have twice now proven your courage, loyalty, and valor. You have protected your king and your princess at great risk to your own life. And so, I decree your training is at an end." A hush fell. "You shall no longer be known as Pug, the squire," the king continued. "From this day forth, you shall be called Sir Mandor Allen, defender of the realm." The hall erupted in cheers. "Pugno," Sir Mandor Allen fell to one knee, overwhelmed with emotion, as the king tapped a sacred blade to his shoulders. He was no longer just a blacksmith's son, no longer just a hopeful boy with a dream. He was a real knight, a hero, and the kingdom would never forget his name. Many adventures awaited this knight in the making. He didn't know it, but his name would be legendary.